Please like, subscribe, and be sure to click that bell button for regular and exciting indie film content and your chance to be the first to engage with the Liftoff Global Network of Film Festivals as we embark on launching the careers of the filmmakers of tomorrow.
Hello everyone and welcome to today's stream. Today we are joined by three of the wonderful winners of the Sydney and Melbourne Liftoff Film Festival, and here are our audience choice winners. Welcome Chase, Fernando and Jerónimo. Welcome so much to today's stream. Chase, I'm going to throw it over to you first. Could you introduce yourself and tell us what your film was and what your roles were on the film?
Yeah, absolutely. My name's Chase Bowman. I'm from Melbourne, Australia, and I was the writer and director of Lucid. And Lucid is about a young woman who's in a combative household and she just wants to kind of escape, and it doesn't go as well as she would expect.
Amazing. Well, we're going to start with your film, but before we do that, let's find out a little bit more from Fernando and Jerónimo. Could you tell us about your project, please?
Mi nombre es Jerónimo Cabrera. Soy el director de Karkas, Héroes de Antaño.
My name is Jerónimo Cabrera, and I'm the director of Karkas, Heroes of Old. And yeah, it's a film about, old heroes that are retired because the society thinks that, they don't serve anymore.
Oh, wow. And I'm very excited to share everyone your project as well. But like I said, we're going to start with Chase's project. But before we do, just going to introduce ourselves as well. So I'm Natalie, the general manager here at Liftoff.
And I'm Toby, her assistant.
Yeah.
Glamorous assistant.
Glamorous assistant. And for our audience that are watching, if you have any questions for our filmmakers during the course of this stream, please do put that into the chat room. It is open and our filmmakers will answer those questions that you have. Chase, I'm going to get your film loaded up. So as I do that, you started talking about the inspiration behind your project, but if you wanted to delve a little bit deeper into the reason as to why you wanted to make this project, that would be a fantastic place to start.
Easy. Well, Lucid was actually not inspired by the story itself. It was actually inspired by circumstance. This was written as part of my university degree, and then it ended up not being part of the curriculum anymore because of the lockdowns in Melbourne. We were unable to shoot for so long. They changed the assessment, but we had done a year and a half of pre-production and written them. So I kind of took it from there and used it, but basically it was written for purpose of the fact that this would be pitched to the Deakin board, which was the university I was at. And in order for it to be selected, it kind of needed to serve multiple purposes. So I tried to write a film that included multiple genres and a lot of different technical and practical techniques so that no matter who was going to be a part of my student crew, they would always get to do something they were excited and interested by. It was to kind of incorporate a breadth of different things so that everyone was served by the film that they were going to be a part of making. So the story itself was written just based on picking my favorite genres and techniques and things that I thought might be difficult and wrapping them into a story where it would make as much sense as possible.
Yeah, fantastic. Fantastic. One of the points that I have written down is about the casting, especially obviously the female lead. How did you find her? Was she also part of the university, or did you go through a casting listing and audition route?
Yeah, so we went and we went on Star now, which is pretty common, especially for student projects. And we just put the net, casted it very wide, had a lot of people send in audition tapes, and then we dwindled it down. And then we invited our top picks back. So me, my director of photography, Merchant, and Caleb, our producer, kind of made a short list of our favorites and then invited them for the lead into an in-person audition. Obviously with COVID, it had to be as tight-knit group as possible. So we picked our favorites. And then on the day, Luna, who is our Faye in the film, stood out. She was incredible. And I knew that my role on the shoot day itself would be so spread thin with so many green crew and myself being green that I needed someone that I could just trust after rehearsal to just take it. And she did. She was amazing.
Yeah, she does a brilliant job, and you did a brilliant job directing her.
Yeah,
Thank you.
It's when you're wearing so many hats, it's so difficult to make sure that everyone has enough attention to be able to fulfill the vision that you have. So yeah, well done on going with the gut. and with your casting.
Thank you.
Locations. Where is this shot?
Well, that's interesting because given this was all filmed in the last month of our enrollment in Deakin University. So even though it wasn't part of the assessments, they still let us have the equipment in a week break during the lockdown. So we had 4 days to shoot, which meant that a lot of the locations we initially planned did not work. One of them was in a house about an hour and a half or 2 hours away, an Airbnb that we got them to agree to let us film. And so had to drag a green crew out there and do that, and then drive all the way back to Melbourne. The film noir location, the black and white, was actually meant to be at the university, but because of COVID, they weren't allowed to let us in to just shoot. So my incredible family got together and helped us paint a bunch of the garage in black, and then my mum sewed together blackout curtains that we made, and so we were able to shoot it here at my house, which was great. And then the last shooting location that we had shooting-wise was the white cyclorama, which is actually at the studio that I work at now, Melbounre Productions. So it's a quarter room cyc, so we had to kind of reverse shoot some of it to kind of give that effect that it was a 360.
Yeah, nice.
But it was awesome. And when you've got a crew that really wants to make it work, you kind of pull it all together and find places that work for the circumstances.
We talk about hurdles a lot here, and I think as a first-time filmmaker, or even an independent filmmaker, those hurdles that you come up against just mean that you creatively become more resilient. And when you're working on other projects, those lessons you learn will come through and really, really help. So obviously that was a little hurdle that you had to overcome by adapting the garage. Were there any other hurdles that you had to overcome?
Absolutely. Really difficult time. It was a really difficult time just socially for everyone. You know, being in a lockdown, Victoria had some of the strictest lockdown rules in Australia. And so a lot of us were doing university online and didn't have a lot of face-to-face time. And it was really hard to get practical skills and experience. So that was really hard. And then coming in and managing a lot of different personalities and a lot of different levels of experience, it was really difficult. And I found that now in my role as a production manager, managing people is a lot of what I do. So that was incredibly helpful experience to kind of understand the roles and how things work and boundaries there. But it was definitely hard on the long shoot days, with very little sleep and traveling far. And obviously the locations was difficult. You know, we didn't have a production designer for some of it. So in between scenes, I was running off to the other room to hot glue gun, break like wine glasses together and try not to break them, and then running back to direct. So there were a lot of hurdles, but none that I didn't take something really positive from, I think.
Yeah. Well, as long as you use it as a learning experience, you know, that's all you can really do when you face stuff like this.
So because of that shoot, you literally wore every single hat possible to wear. Now that you have graduated, and you said that you're working with a production company?
Yeah, so I'm the production manager at Melbounre Productions here in Melbourne. Yeah, been there for 2 years full time now. And
that's amazing. Yeah. How do you feel about wearing that hat solely? Are you, do you feel a lot calmer in what you're doing, or do you miss?
Yeah.
I don't know. Does it give you the creative outlet that you were looking for?
Well, I'm very lucky to be in a work environment where Matt, my boss and director of the business, is very open to creative input. And whenever we get a job where I can flex the creative muscle and learn a little bit more and practice that, he's very open to it. But it's definitely been difficult. And I think for a lot of people who are doing video and film full time to exercise that creative muscle outside of work, to have that time and that inspiration has been really hard. So it's still something I'm trying to do, but having the one hat day to day has been good. I feel like I have a way better hold on it. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, a bit more focused.
Yeah.
So your film's just coming to an end outside, so I'm going to jump back to the big screen.
Beautiful.
There you go. So there are quite a few people watching, so if you do have any questions for Chase after seeing that film, then please put it in the chat room and we will continue those conversations as they come up. But how has this film done on the festival circuit? Was this your... Would you class it as your first film?
Yes. 100%. Yeah, like first and only so far. I've done a lot of the work that I do day to day is corporate internal stuff, so I can't really, publicly show them, but I do a lot of like really exciting, fun things that I would love to share like this. But this is my only personal project that's out there at the moment. Yeah.
And how did you
the festival circuit the festival circuit's been interesting. Just kind of casted a really wide net, and I was very grateful and fortunate to be part of Liftoff. I've heard a lot of really good things, so I was really excited to be a part of it. And then to get audience choice was it made me feel amazing. I was a finalist for the Brighton International Film Festival for Best Women's Film, which is great.
Yeah.
But obviously, since this was shot at the end of 2021, I'm really keen, once this is wrapped up and the festival season's over, to kind of just share it on YouTube, and so that everyone that was a part of it can just add it to their resume or wherever they'd like to share it on their show reel, so that it can just I can move on to the next thing,
And with that in mind, do you have another like passion project, I'm going to call it, in mind that you want to work on?
That's a great question. I think, as I mentioned before, it's really hard with a full-time job that is a little creatively based to find that time and that inspiration outside of work. My amazing family are encouraging me to do as much of that in my spare time as possible. So this year is hopefully the year that takes priority a little bit more.
Yeah.
But music-based or music video-based, I really like the abstract narrative stuff. It just kind of is a little bit more interesting for me. I don't have a lot of experience in the narrative place, so I think music and film kind of meet there really nicely. So that's something I'm interested in, but baby steps.
Yeah, take it in your own time, but as long as that you're able to keep that candle alight, it will happen.
Yeah.
So just keep and working with the production company that you're with will only open doors of opportunities, of locations, network, hiring, equipment, whatever it may be. So yeah, it's fantastic to have those both working hand in hand.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else that you wish to share? Maybe it's a thanks to anyone who was a part of it, or a story you want to tell us.
Yeah, I mean, the credits at the end are all the thanks. It's all the people that were amazing and a part of this and did the long nights with me and, kind of buckled together. There were nights that I came home from filming and I just looked at my parents and I had tears in my eyes and I was like, I feel so bad that everyone is dedicating so much time to this, and everyone just meted me back with smiles and thanks just for the experience. And that was huge. I think that something I really learnt from this is that all the technical things that I loved, like the match cuts and the slow motion and the shooting day for night, which was an interesting logistical nightmare that we didn't really account for. Yeah, it was a lot of difficulties, but I think the one thing I really learnt was that in an industry like this, no matter what you want to do or where you want to go, it's, what they say is like, it's who you know, not what you know. And I absolutely agree with that. So to just be kind and open and excited was the most important thing I learned, because it made those days and the complicated logistical things so much better when the people around you were open-minded and open-hearted and excited to just do it with you. That was just so huge for me.
I think that's some incredible advice to end on as well, for anyone else who's looking to maybe get into film or is just making their first project, to be open and kind and supportive. It's the most integral part of filmmaking.
Because it's a collaborative process. As you've said, you wouldn't have been able to do it without all those people, and you have to be open, you have to be somebody people enjoy working with, and you seem to have got that down. Maybe.
Yeah, I hope so. So it's a very vulnerable thing.
Yes.
So before we move on to the next project, Fernando and Jerónimo, do you have any questions for Chase? Do you have a question, Rupert?
Mi pregunta es esta. ¿Qué sensación es la que tuviste al hacer tu primer trabajo y ver el resultado final?
What is the feeling you get when you see your first movie done? From the start, when you have the idea, and then at the end when you realize, hey, here it is.
That's a really beautiful question. Oh, thank you. it's a really good feeling, because I know I think for every artist that does this, it's so easy to pick apart what you could have done differently and what you could have done better. But I think the massive weight off my chest when it was all done was that everything that happened, we actually made something. Like it's there and it's a final product, and it just makes me feel really good, and I feel so proud of everyone that was a part of it.
There's a question here from Laura in the chat. She says, first of all, Lucid is amazing. I would like to know if you have any other upcoming creative projects for 2024. We touched upon that slightly, but maybe if you could just recap in a couple of
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I full-time work in video production, and a lot of it is internal and not shareable publicly, which is disappointing. We do, my boss, Matt Smolin, we get to direct incredible corporate parody videos and Barbie spoofs and Back to the Future spoofs, which I can't share, which sucks. But hopefully this year that is something that takes priority, and I'm not sure in what form yet, but I am prioritizing it this year. So thank you for that. That's very sweet.
Your audience, your fans need it. Okay, they're begging for it.
Thank you so much, Chase. And a final question: what is your favorite film?
My favorite film of all time. What comes to mind? It sounds like every other film kid, but Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Oh,
I love that film. Yeah. It's
fair.
Edgar Wright is incredible, and I used a lot of match cuts and transitions like that in my film, because I love the way he moves film and narrative through motion, not always through dialogue or kind of harsh moments. It feels really fluid, which I really enjoy.
You mentioned that the next thing you want to work on is something to do with music, and that makes sense, because he's such a musical director, and that sense of rhythm is so
the rhythm
key
is
to
always
his
there.
editing. Yeah.
Didn't he release a animated version
Recently.
Yes, on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Have
And
you seen
the
that
original cast is voicing it.
one? Amazing.
Oh, okay.
And so was that?
Yeah.
If that's one of your favorite films, I bet you were super excited to see that come out as well.
It's incredible. It was really cool to see the original cast honor the story by coming back to the voice acting roles. It was awesome.
Fantastic.
Brilliant.
Well, thank you, Chase. We're going to move over to
Thank
the next
you.
film. So, Jerónimo and Fernando, let's get your film loaded. But as we do that, can you retell everyone the inspiration behind your project and why you wanted to make it?
La inspiración detrás de tu proyecto y por qué has querido hacerlo.
Vale. La inspiración de mi proyecto es él. Él tiene una prenda de estar en casa de Batman. Un día vino un repartidor a entregar un paquete. Cuando lo recibió mi hijo al repartidor, el repartidor se le abrían los ojos. Y yo pensé para mí, una de dos: está alucinado porque está pensando de que le está entregando un paquete a Batman, o bien le gusta a mi hijo. Una de las dos cosas. Entonces me dio por pensar cómo serían las heroínas y los héroes en su vida habitual, hacerlos más humanos. Es decir, se divorcian, pierden el trabajo, tienen depresiones, tienen problemas, y acercar un poco ese mundo de las heroínas y héroes a construir una crítica social que fuera más próxima y que tuviera la fuerza de los personajes, evidentemente, de ser heroínas y héroes.
So I'm his son, and basically I was the inspiration for the film, because I have a cloth like a rope, a Batman rope. I have the symbol behind me, and one of those moments when you get to open the door to receive an Amazon package, for example, and the delivery guy was like, with open eyes, like, I'm seeing Batman right now. I'm with that rope. And my father just has the idea, like, how would it be to see our superheroes that we all know in a day-to-day basis? Like, what's the things that they would do in a normal day when they are not fighting supervillains, And then he started creating this idea and developing it and transform it into a social critic about how people, when they get old, they are moved out from their jobs because they are getting old and they are not being as how to say it, as productive as someone could expect. So they decided to hire someone that is younger. And yeah, that's basically the film. Superheroes that are getting old, so you're not what you used to be, so let's try and get someone younger to it. That's basically it.
Bless you.
Thank you.
And I think that description is perfect because what we're seeing on screen is almost like an older Harlequin rolling up in a yellow motorbike, which is quite extravagant. So it's not just the fact that you're taking this story; you're also having a lot of fun with it. And I think the comment that I wrote down is, this just looks like it was so much fun to write, to film, to cast, all of it. I'm sure there was lots of hard work and hurdles to overcome and problems that you faced. But watching it and looking at it, it just looks like it was fun. So what was your experience making this?
¿Cuál ha sido tu experiencia haciendo la peli? Las dificultades que te has podido encontrar, lo bien que te lo has pasado, etcétera, etcétera.
Mi experiencia es auténtica. Volvería a repetirlo con los ojos cerrados, porque conseguimos tener una convivencia con la gente que hasta ese momento no la habíamos podido tener. Fue realizado en pandemia, había mucha gente que tenía serios problemas, incluso había perdido a familiares, y esto fue un punto de savia nueva, de alegría, en el que nos permitió, lógicamente, compartir esta creación. Momentos difíciles ha habido y bastantes. Lo que pasa es que los hemos resuelto, pero nunca ha habido ni una queja, ni hemos discutido entre nosotros. Siempre ha habido buen ambiente, sonrisas, y hasta el día de hoy seguimos manteniendo ese mismo ambiente y esa misma conjunción entre todos los miembros, que son 44 en total.
So yeah, of course there has been some difficulties, but if I had to do this all over again, I would do it with my eyes closed, because it's been such a fun thing to do and such a collaborative process between all of us. We've been there for like a year or so, making this thing happen. And yeah, the good thing about it is it was shot during the pandemic, so it was a hard time for a lot of us. Some of the crew members had lost even people, familiars, and all that stuff. So this kind of thing was like an escape from all of that, to go there, to have fun, to even pay tribute to all his members. So yeah, it was such a fun process. And yeah, of course, we have difficulties with it. It was a cast of 44
Wow.
44 actors and actresses. So it's a lot to deal with, but we did it in a collaborative space, and we supported each other, and that's a good thing about the film industry. I think that's the way we need to do things.
Fantastic.
There's quite a heavy you use a lot of special effects, different effects across the film, and some of them I just feel like they really fit the tone of the storytelling as well. They're almost a character in themselves with the way that you've decided to use those special effects. How was that decision made?
Hay muchos efectos visuales en la peli, y cómo ha sido esa decisión de utilizar tantos efectos especiales, porque, o sea, queda muy bien dentro de la película, digamos. Entonces, saber cómo...
Sí. Eh, el mundo de los Karkas, por eso es Karkas Héroes de Antaño, queríamos crear un mundo de cómic. La necesidad de introducir los efectos especiales es para darle ese aspecto, digamos, que tienen los personajes originales dentro de lo que es el cómic. Es decir, como puedan ser bocadillos, como puedan ser flashes, star y demás. Entonces, por eso hemos introducido esos efectos especiales. Luego, si queremos dar la sensación de que es una heroína o un héroe, tienen que cumplir con su misión. Tienen que subir paredes, tienen que echar rayos por los ojos o tienen que tener fuerza, ¿no? O sea, si no, pues quedarían un poco flojos.
So yeah, but we wanted to recreate a fantasy world. You know, we all know how superheroes are. You know, X-ray, superpowers, and the strongest man alive. Those kind of things. So basically, we wanted to create a film where you felt like you were reading a comic.
Mm-hmm.
So in these kind of things, it's all about, you know, the drawing and the colors and the visual stuff. So for us, it was really important to try and recreate that, and the way to do it was with those you know, special effects, with those X-rays, with those I don't know, smoke, those kind of things really I think enhance the experience of a superhero world that you could believe.
And did you decide from the start that you wanted to make it sort of heightened? You know, because it's got some quite sort of out there, some highly stylized elements. Did you decide from the beginning you wanted to make it that comic book and you didn't want to make a sort of Christopher Nolan?
¿Querías desde el principio eso
Yeah.
o eso vino después?
No, desde el principio.
Just from the beginning,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
it was really clear.
Yeah.
Es un poco la visión mía que yo tenía de mi juventud. Es decir, el hecho de ver cómics, leyéndolos, el hecho de ver dibujos animados o el hecho de ver alguna película, las primeras que aparecieron de Superman, de Batman con Tim Burton, eso te lleva a generar este producto.
Yeah, it was like reliving your own childhood, you know, reading all those comics and seeing the first superhero movies with the first Superman or something like that, where you could see those kind of, let's say, cheesy special effects and all that stuff. So yeah, it was like reliving my boyhood, basically.
Yeah.
Amazing. And how is the film doing? Are you looking to distribute it? Are you just doing the festival circuit? What stage is it at?
¿Cómo está yendo la película? ¿Lo vas a mover por más festivales? ¿Qué vas a hacer con ellos?
La película la estamos moviendo por festivales, estará 2 años moviéndose por festivales, está yendo fenomenal, hemos tenido 10 selecciones y 4 premios, entonces estamos contentísimos. Hemos hecho una exposición de todo el vestuario y el atrezo que vamos a llevar por Madrid para que lo vean todo el mundo. Y nuestra intención es proyectarla en alguna localidad más hasta que llegue su fin de 2 años, ¿no? Que más o menos es lo que contamos que va a durar.
So the promotion, the planning is to promote it for like about 2 years, and we're doing festival circuits. Right now we have 10 selections and 4 awards. So we would say, I think we're doing it really good with it. We are very happy with the results. And right now we have like a museum exhibition in the local town where it was shot. And we have all the clothing, you know, the weapons, all the things that have been utilized for the shooting. We have it there so people can see it, so people can, you know, read a little bit about the history of how it was done. And after those 2 years, well, who knows? But right now we are very happy with the results.
Fantastic and well done. That sounds really, really good.
I've just got one question about casting. All the actors seem to be having an absolute ball. They're having a great time. How did you cast them? Like, what are they? Local actors? Are they friends? You know, how did you get them to so understand the tone of the project?
¿Cómo contactaste con los actores y actrices? ¿Eran gente de la localidad? ¿Los buscaste por internet? ¿Cómo fue eso?
Sí, la historia. Los actores son todos conocidos. Yo los conocía porque de hecho tengo una agenda en la cual tengo todos sus números de teléfono y sus WhatsApp. Cuando ideamos el proyecto, pensamos en un mediometraje de cinco actores nada más. ¿Qué sucedió? Que empezó a correrse la voz y empezaron a llamarme por teléfono para preguntarme si no tenía un papel para ellos. Entonces yo, como era un momento difícil que estábamos viviendo, decidí ampliar el guión y ampliar los personajes. Y en este sentido, pues todo el que me comentaba o me decía si no había un papel para él, nos inventábamos ese papel. Hasta un total de 23 actores y 2 actores de doblaje. Entonces, es decir, el proyecto fue arriba de ser un mediometraje, se ha convertido en un largometraje.
Well, at first, we didn't talk about this, but at first it was a short film plan. And it was going to be 5 people involved, like 5 actors. But and everyone is from our local town. So basically, I decided to collaborate with those 5 actors, and we started, creating the idea, the script, and all that stuff. And because the difficult times and, people were at home, they couldn't get out. So it was really easy, to say, well, I don't have anything to do. And this guy is doing this film. Why don't I contact him and try to get the role on it? So, every actor and actress in town know each other. So if one of them is in the film, then he starts talking to another one and say, hey, why don't you come here and, try to do anything in this film? And they started contacting my dad and started talking, why don't I get, like a small role on here? So my dad decided, okay, so yeah, why not? Let's do a little bit more of the script. And, it happened all over again and all over again and all over again until it was like, oh shit, I got like 23 actors and actresses here right now. So yeah, it was a short film at first, but then it just escalated so quickly.
Amazing. What a fun story. And the fact you taking it back to the beginning of when you were saying that this was such a release for everyone who was going through the tough times of COVID. What a fantastic project. What a fantastic project to bring to life and to be involved with for everyone. So yeah, thank you for sharing, and thank you for being here with us today.
And they all got the assignment, I think, as the youth would say.
They understood. Final question, what are your favourite films?
¿Tu peli favorita?
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner.
That was quick.
I was like, no hesitation.
No,
Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Instantly.
He had that in the locker for a while.
And your favourite film?
My favorite film?
Yeah, your favourite film.
Oh shit, that's such a difficult question. I never talk about this because this is all about the film. But I'm a music composer, and I have so many good films in my list that I don't know. I think one of the ones that just resonates with me is the Grand Hotel Budapest.
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, the music's brilliant in that
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
Yeah,
The
it's
music's
amazing.
Yeah.
Alexander Desplat there is the greatest. So yeah, I would say that one.
Fantastic.
Good shout. Very
Great,
good
great
shout.
shout.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like Luke isn't joining us on today's stream, so we are gonna wrap it up now. But before we do, Chase, do you have any questions for our filmmakers?
Yeah, really quickly, I wanted to say a cast of, I think you said 44. That's like incredible. Like, that's insane. But how did, I know that it evolved from a short film to then this incredible magnitude. How long did it take to film with that many performers? What was the length of that?
Tardamos unos 9 meses en poderlo filmar, más luego posteriormente realizar el montaje. Empezamos en el 2021 y lo estrenamos en el 2023. O sea que todo ese tiempo es el que tardamos en crear toda esta película.
So shooting wise, it was like 9 months of shooting with all these actors, and then there was a lot of iteration in the editing room. So everything started in 2021. Pandemic, and then 2021, everything started a little bit more. And we ended up in 2023. So yeah, it was a really long project.
Wow.
Hey, look, mine was too. I like it. I think that's good.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for joining us today. Stay on the call. We're just going to end the stream, and we can continue chatting after. But yeah, from both of us, thank you so much.
And thank you for everyone who's watching, and for everyone who will watch. Hope you enjoy.
If you have any questions later on, then do comment in the comment section below the video, and hopefully our filmmakers will check back just to make sure that there's some comments that they can answer to.
And like it and subscribe.
Perfect. Thank you, and thank you to our filmmakers. Well done.
Woo! Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.